Hello, and welcome back to another Chris McPherson show. Live watch along for the NBL. We are watching along with the Throwdown. South East Melbourne coming up against Melbourne United. Looking forward to this big rivalry clash, and great to have you along with us. Looking forward to the match getting underway very shortly. It's been a big weekend in NBL action, that is for sure, with games so far, keeping us busy across the last few nights. And it is going to be an interesting clash this afternoon, you would have to think. And we have a look back through some of the recent results. Some surprise results yesterday as both Cairns and the New Zealand Breakers chalked up some big wins over Illawarra and the Tasmania Jack Jumpers, respectively. So certainly starting to reshape the ladder. The Breakers are moving their way up. Cairns are closing the gap on the teams in front of them as well. So crucial results for many teams when you have a look at it and where they now sit. The Breakers have now leapfrogged Tasmania. Cairns are just one win behind Brisbane. But as we head into today's game, it is first versus third. Melbourne United taking on South East Melbourne, the designated home side. So looking forward to seeing how this unfolds. Tip-off scheduled for about 2 minutes' time. As we know, it never actually runs quite to schedule. But looking forward to this game nonetheless. Let us know if you're tuning in the comments who you fancy in this game this afternoon. Also be covering off a little bit later on our channel, Perth and Adelaide, as Bryce Cotton returns home to the jungle for the first time. His old stomping ground in his new colours for the Adelaide 36ers. So looking forward to seeing how that all shapes as well. It's going to be a great afternoon of basketball, some cracking hoops action, and a thriller only a couple of nights ago on Thursday night. And the competition is continuing to heat up and liven up, and we can't wait to see where this takes us this afternoon in these big clashes. But just recapping the game so far this week, we had over at Claudelands Arena on Wednesday night, the Breakers got the win over Sydney. That was their second win on the bounce. Illawarra pipped South East Melbourne, coming back to get that one done after they led by a significant margin. And then we headed to Perth taking on Melbourne United over there in Perth. And Perth got the chocolates. So can they go 2 from 2 for the weekend? Melbourne United looking to bounce back after their third loss of the season. Adelaide extended their winning run with a 25-point win over the Brisbane Bullets on Friday night as well in the early game. In the late game. And then yesterday, as I said, New Zealand getting it done by 13 over the Jack Jumpers, and Cairns, a 17-point win, their biggest win of the season, up against the Illawarra Hawks. Illawarra bouncing back to the losers list after that win over South East Melbourne when they held off the Phoenix in overtime. So lots to unpack when we talk about that from Friday night, as well as some of these other results, but certainly looking forward to how this match gets underway. Sorting out one little technical moment, and then we will be right back with you. So just waiting for the teams to get set and tip off to get us underway. Just in the lead up. Melbourne United will go in as favourites, both coming off a loss. So both now pursuing a bounce back win. It will be interesting to see what comes of it. As I said, we've got the 2 games today. We've got Melbourne United then playing visitors this time, even though it's at John Cain Arena, up against South East Melbourne in the Throwdown. Then it'll be the Bryce Cotton Cup. Adelaide travelling over to Perth. That's an interesting one. Very little separating the 2 teams. And we'll be back again on Wednesday night. We'll have South East Melbourne again up against the Tassie Jack Jumpers coming from Gippsland Regional Indoor Sports Stadium. Another different venue. Certainly looking forward to calling that. But this one, there's no love lost between these 2 teams. And they will be absolutely fired up for it. Dean Vickerman's crew comes up against Josh King's crew. Green and blue go toe-to-toe at John Cain Arena. You expect the starting fives to look something like potentially Walker, Delaney, Krebs, Kerslovic and Coppins. For Melbourne, they may be tempted to start Golding. For South East Melbourne, I think it'll be very similar to what it was the other night against Illawarra. John Brown III, Jordan Hunter, Nathan Sobey, Hunter Maldonado will probably step in today, and Wes Awundu. Just waiting for the teams to get set, get sorted. About 2.5 minutes now, they're saying, on screen till tip-off of this one. The big rivalry game, the Throwdown. Looking forward to seeing what we can of these two teams. Wes Awundu led the scorers earlier in the week, 22 points in that loss. Nathan Sobey ran red hot. He put 17 down in the fourth quarter. These two have already played twice this year, and Melbourne United have got the chocolates both times. And that's been a challenge for South East Melbourne. They haven't been able to beat either of the sides above them on the ladder. 5 losses this season, and 4 of them have come against Melbourne United and Adelaide combined. So some work to do to close that gap, maybe. Maybe there's just a gulf between first, second, or the top 2, I should say, and the rest of the pack. Melbourne and Adelaide, both 3 losses on the season at the moment. Adelaide will have a chance to pull level with Melbourne and top the ladder if Melbourne drop this game. Actually, if Melbourne lose this game, Adelaide can leapfrog them. That will be interesting to see. Looks like Maldonado, as I said, will likely start in place of Daniel Foster, who started on Friday night. Teams just going through their official introductions at the arena. Confirmation, Melbourne United will be Tyson Walker and Tanner Krebs the starting guards. Finn Delaney and Fabian Kerslovic the forwards. And Tom Coppins will play the big man role at the 5. Not long now till tip-off. A tough night on Thursday night for United. Some erroneous shooting up against Perth. Milton Doyle, Chris Golding, and Tyson Walker between them combined for 6 of 36 field goals. You can't imagine they'll be that quiet again this evening, but you just never know. So it will be Maldonado and Sobey, Brown, Awundu, and Hunter, the starting 5 for the Phoenix. We're all set for the tip-off. Sunday hoops getting underway. Double header. We'll be bringing you both the games on our live watch-along. So we are set and we're away. South East Melbourne come away with the opening possession. They're in their Space Jam Tune Squad outfit. Sobey getting to work, looking for an early bucket. Doesn't go. Brown, though, gets the rebound. Hunter for 3. Drains it, does the big man. He's got a soft hand and a good eye. Gets the first points. Now Kerslovic tries to set an opportunity here. They swing it wide. Beautiful there. Delaney gets one back from 3. Good shooting early from the two sides. Out wide again, now deep for Maldonado, and he drains another. That's 3 threes to start this game. I'll tell you what, if they can keep this up, it's going to be some afternoon at John Cain Arena. South East Melbourne 6-3 with a minute gone. Sits long for Kerslovic. Now he sweeps around. Coppins gives off. Ball fired in. Nathan Sobey breaks it up, not even knowing that he'd done it, and hit the back of his arm. Awundu goes for 3. His doesn't go. First missed 3. Hunter there for the rebound. Fumbles it over the baseline. Out of bounds. Melbourne United ball. United inbound through to Coppin. He drives down the left-hand side of the court. Foul given against Sobey. Just a little bit of a nudge. Gets the early foul against him. The first one of the game. Melbourne wastes no time getting the ball into Walker. Little fumble. Turns it over. Maldonado is going to go in for the easy layup. He's fouled. Walker happy to give that one. And Maldonado will go to the line. Just lost it, trying to do the crossover between his legs, Walker. Maldonado went down. He's probably lucky he got fouled in the end because he absolutely butchered the shot. Interesting, both Doyle and Golding on the bench. Jesse Edwards there as well. It's a very stacked bench for Melbourne United. Dash Daniels. Plenty of talent there. 1 from 2 for Maldonado. Gets a second. They lead by 4. Delaney lofts it out in front of Walker. Fumble. That's 2 fumbles in a row for Walker. Hunter puts it out in front of Sobey. He gets up and drains it. Thought he might have got the M1 for a second, but didn't really debate that too much. Definitely no foul there. Inbound ball for Melbourne United. Delaney for Coppins. Coppins working one-on-one with Awundu. Gets over the top of the import and gets a 2. Now Hunter. Little bounce pass out wide for Sobey. Hunter swings around. He comes back centre though for Maldonado. Brown sets the screen, gets the bounce pass in, holds it up, pulls it up. Gets his own missed shot regathered, but loses it in the end and turns over the ball. Delaney working 1-2. Beautiful work. Open bucket. Nice and easy for Finn Delaney. They get the margin back to 2 points. Geordie Hunter working with Hunter Maldonado now. Deep to Sobey. Sobey and Walker. Brown sets the screen. Walker loses his footing. Sobey goes to work and it's swatted away by Melbourne United, but it falls to a green jersey. Sobey now open 3 from the wing. Doesn't get it. Hunter, though, gets the rebound. He gives Sobey another shot, will he? No, Sobey slips and loses his footing. Got a player from both sides down. We'll see what the end call is here. Just trying to step and slide. They just got tangled up. It wasn't a slip as much. So now Phoenix ball inbound. Nice little jumper there from Awundu. Gets them back on a 4-point margin. Coppins working it around. Walker's there. Coppins, quick fire. Kerslovic. Sweeps back to the middle. Walker gets half a step of space. Looking for an option. Finds some space. Just goes himself. A little mid-range jumper. 3 minutes and 15 seconds gone in the first quarter. Hunter Maldonado tries to do it all himself, but couldn't get over the big body of Kerslovic. Turns it over. Walker now. Swings it round on the 3-point arc. Kerslovic coming around, drains the 3 from out wide, and all of a sudden United have their first lead of the game. 3.5 minutes gone. They lead by 1. Maldonado. They've got a foul. Walker and Sobey coming together. Walker's got plenty to say. He's getting heated. Players running in, just trying to separate it and cool it down. Walker's still chirping. Referee's having a chat, working out what they want to do here. It's just Walker and Sobey. Sobey was trying to get space, and Walker just grabbed his arm, and then they came back together after the foul was given. Geordie Hunter was in there as a peacekeeper, as well as Delaney. So Walker will go and have a rest, and Milton Doyle comes in after 3 minutes 43. Now, inbound again for South East Melbourne, this time to Awundu. It'll fade away. No, it's Brown, sorry. Brown sweeping it out. Gets a bucket back for Phoenix. We called delay of game now against South East Melbourne. As Wes Awundu just slowing things down. He ended up in the front row of the crowd. Melbourne United now in possession, trailing by 1. 4 minutes gone. Doyle shifts it off to Kerslovic. Kerslovic, little bounce pass for Delaney. Delaney tries to drive in against Brown. Does well to stay inside the baseline, does he? He does, but misdirected pass goes out of bounds on the sideline near halfway. Good to have you on board tuning in. If you're tuning in for the first time, make sure to hit subscribe. Give us a like on the video. Let us know in the comments where you're watching from and who you think is going to get the job done here. It's a helter-skelter tight first 4 minutes here as Angus Glover checks in for the Phoenix. Always good to have you watching along. Sobey for 3. Beautiful shot from the captain for South East Melbourne. Now Finn Delaney dropping it back. Doyle back inside for Delaney, just mid-range jumper, just in front of the foul line. Nice and easy, gets it back to a 2-point game. 4.5 gone here at John Cain Arena. Mishandled by Sobey. That's not an area you see often. Now Milton Doyle driving into the paint, gets the pass away. Edwards is out there and he just gets the jumper done. Ties us back up halfway through this first quarter. He's busy. On Thursday night was Jesse Edwards, 17 points and 9 rebounds. John Brown, jumper just outside the lane, gets it done. Gives the lead back. Plenty of to and fro here in this one in the first quarter. Doyle. Edwards a screen. Doyle again swings wide. Delaney a little feint for 3. Cuts back to the inside. Takes the bucket. Ties up at 18 apiece. Now, Sobey draws in Doyle. Bounce pass for Brown. Back to a deep Geordie Hunter who drains a nothing but net 3. My goodness, he was a good step back from the line. And he is absolutely firing early here, Geordie Hunter. He's 2 from 2 from 3-point range. They lead by 3. 4 minutes on the clock in his first quarter. Coppins gives it off. Edwards doesn't get it to go. Coppins punches it out of the hands of Awundu. And it will be South East Melbourne ball. It's actually going to be judged a foul. And it must be in the bonus now. So South East Melbourne go to the line. John Brown gets one. And 2. Extended it to 5 points. Fumbling, passing from Melbourne works out okay. CG43's out there. Chris Golding gives it off to Daniels. Nice little mid-range jumper, falls short. He rebounds his own ball though. Goes again, misses again. None from 2 to start from the young next star. 3 minutes 30 on the clock. Sobey on the ball now. On the 45-degree angle, just drives around the whole pack. Bounce passes back to a Ketchalier. They're going to say he stepped on the baseline. Out of bounds, it will be Melbourne United ball. Inbound to Dash Daniels. He swings it wide now, just working it round, looking at options. Cole Bowen's out there. Edwards, Dash Daniels. Milton Doyle now tries to pass it over the top. Somehow it finds his way to Jesse Edwards. He misses the bucket though, and it's taken away by a Ketchalier. Nathan Sobey for a deep 3, and absolutely smooth as you like. Sobey extends them out to their biggest lead of the afternoon so far. An 8-point lead opens up for South East Melbourne. Again, well outside the 3-point arc. And Melbourne United take a timeout with 3 minutes on the clock. Good to have you tuning in. Jump into the comments, get involved. Give the video a like if you can. And we'd love it if you hit subscribe. Big afternoon of basketball. Got South East Melbourne Phoenix versus Melbourne United in this throwdown into the return of Bryce Cotton to Perth. As he's Adelaide 36ers head back to the jungle to take on Perth United. Perth Wildcats, sorry. Perth and Melbourne confused there for a moment. But speaking of United, Melbourne United have some work to do at the end of this first quarter. They trail by 8 already. They've called the timeout here. Dean Vickerman barking instructions. Of course, Dean Vickerman was the lead for that coaching staff in the Boomers' recent games during the FIBA break, where they got 2 solid wins against New Zealand to start off their round of World Cup qualifying. Just deputising for Adam Capehorn. Now, Melbourne United looking for the inbound. Cotton looking to be the option to present. They go to Daniels instead. Lay it back now. It comes to Cotton. Aliir trying to press him down. Bowen goes to work, tries to get to the outside. Flicks it over, looking for Daniels. It's batted back, but it falls to Bowen. 7 on the shot clock. Doyle looking for space. Does well just to tiptoe inside the sideline on the right-hand flank. Steps back for a 3-point shot. Does enough to reset the shot clock. Nathan Sobey leaps up acrobatically over the baseline to grab it before landing, gets the pass back in, and away go the Phoenix. Hunter now for Aliir. Aliir through to Glover. Glover lobs it over this time for Aliir. Aliir decides to take a step back 3. Doesn't go. Comes off the left-hand side of the rim, and it sits for Milton Doyle. Doyle getting plenty of effort in. Gets past 1. Can't get past the second. Foster thinking that he might have been fouled. But it's been adjudged a defensive foul against Foster, so Doyle will go to the line. 26-18, 2:11 on the clock. It's the throwdown. South East Melbourne and Melbourne. One of the biggest days on the regular season basketball calendar. Throwdown 31 into Bryce's return. Doyle adds the points from the free throw line. We're back to a 6-point ball game as we tick down towards 2 minutes remaining in this quarter. Now Sobey. Aliir sets a screen. Doesn't really fool anyone. We'll hold him on up. Glover gets to the outside. Fires the ball back in looking for Hunter. It's stolen away. Golding was there. Lays it out for Daniels. Daniels back to Doyle. Open look for Bowen. Bowen was side to net, though. They couldn't really get it there. And then Doyle just tries to do it all himself. Edwards looks for the rebound. Spills out wide. Glover takes it, flicks it back into Hunter, who lays it off for Foster. It was scrappy, but it worked out okay for the Phoenix. Now Aaliyah, open look, decides better of it. Sobey. He steps across, finds some open space for a three. And then Geordie Hunter comes soaring through and just taps that in. Just the putback. Beautiful basketball. They lead by 8 again. Golding gets in, finds some space in the paint. Edwards goes to work, but he's stopped. They're going to say there's a foul there. He gets the bucket afterwards, but I don't think that'll count. So it'll be 2 free throws for the big Dutchman. Edwards hits his first. And he gets a second. Back to 6. Minute 12 on the clock in this first quarter. South East Melbourne, most of the answers so far, shooting at 56%. Melbourne shooting at 57%, just not creating quite as many chances. Inside the final minute now. Awundu's back out there. Step over, cross back. Drives into the lane, gets the bucket. They bring up 30 in the first quarter. Plenty of points on offer here so far this afternoon. Josh King admonishing a couple of these players, urging on some defence. Milton Doyle, flick pass out wide. 3-point shot for them, and it wedges between hoop and backboard. Tanner Krebs just couldn't quite hit the mark there. Stays 30 to 22, 37.1 seconds on the clock. The South East Melbourne ball. No, it will be Melbourne ball. Of course, called a jump ball, so we had to have a look at where the situation was. Golding gets a shot away. Doesn't get the 3 to go. Hunter takes the rebound. Maldonado realises he can slow things up. There's just over 10 seconds differential between shot clock and game clock. They work it down the right-hand side. Foster feeds it back into the top of the 3-point arc. Alira fumble, manages to regather. He's looking for options, couldn't really find anything. 6 on the shot clock. Sliding his way through. Foster tries to get it done, and then it's put in by Alir. We might have a foul on the play, though. So Foster will go to the line with 12.5 on the clock. Drains the first, does Foster. Takes that to a 9-point lead, the biggest lead of the game. And the second. Make it double digits in the shadows of quarter time here. Hunter steps out. Doyle fires it wide. 5 on the clock. Over the top they come. They can't get the bucket to go. Maldonado. Given the foul here, let's just have a look. Maldonado took the rebound. I'm not sure what they've pulled this up for. I'll have a look. Melbourne United, normally renowned for their defence, just misdirected on this. They conceded 33 points against Perth the other night in the first quarter, which is the most they've had. And then 32 tonight. So really, so this afternoon I should say, really falling apart, going by the wayside with their defence in the first quarter. Melbourne United, not a great start. And at quarter time, they trail by 10 points. Do the ladder leaders, 32-22. South East Melbourne leading the way. 9 points for Finn Delaney, leading all scorers. And Geordie Hunter with 8, Nathan Sobey with 8, and Wes Awundu with 6 for the Phoenix. As I say, Finn Delaney's the predominant scorer there for the side in blue, Melbourne United, shooting at 100%. He's 4 from 4. Shooting's been excellent. 58% for South East Melbourne, 50% for Melbourne. But we'll see how it builds from here. We're going to take a short break. Only a matter of 30 seconds or so. We'll be right back with you with the second quarter. We are back now, getting set for the second quarter here between South East Melbourne and Melbourne United. And it's been the little brother in the relationship that have fired fastest first here at John Cain Arena today. They lead by 10 at the break. The second quarter now underway. And what will we see from these two sides? Hunter going after the threes again and hits one to start things. That's a dagger blow. That's his third of the afternoon. Takes him as the first player into double digits. He's having a good afternoon already. 3 rebounds and an assist. Now, Walker fires it wide. Kerslevic's there. Doyle's out there sweeping around. Does the job himself in the lane and gets 2 back. But 3s versus 2 don't close the gap. It's 11 points. Melbourne have only led by 1, and only briefly. They led for 18 seconds so far in the first quarter as John Brown, the third, gets a bucket as well. 13-point lead. South East Melbourne trying to turn the screws here against their crosstown rivals. Good to have you with us. If you're just joining us for the first time, make sure to hit subscribe, give the video a like, and get involved in the comments. As Finn Delaney gets another bucket. Also into double digits. Hunter thinks about a 3 from very deep. Sobey working into the paint. Gets it up over Brown with the rebound and gets the points. A few of these players starting to tally up some numbers now. 39-26. And we've got a timeout. Melbourne United just needing a chance to reset. The quarter time break did not do its work. A minute 15 gone in this second quarter. They lead by 13. The equal biggest lead of the match. They are just outperforming Melbourne United at the moment. A very deep squad. We've talked about it a number of times. But we started to see some cracks appear in the facade. Have a look at the journey ahead for these two teams. South East Melbourne will host Tasmania on Wednesday night in Traralgon, the Gippsland Indoor Sports Centre. Melbourne head to a huge Friday night clash against Adelaide. And then hosting on Sunday afternoon up against the Sydney Kings. On South East Melbourne will be home Saturday night against the New Zealand Breakers. They're an informed side at the moment, so interesting times. As it sits on the live ladder, If Melbourne are to lose this one, then Adelaide will go top. Now, United trying to work it around. Nice little bounce pass and open Delaney. Finds Kurzlovic inside the lane, but he can't get the simple layup to go. He does rebound his own ball, though. He just can't find an opening for finding a teammate. Milton Doyle hustling with Maldonado. 5 on the shot clock. Doyle's going to have to do it himself. Slides through, tries to get it up and over. Doesn't go, though. Kurzlovic gets it battered back for Delaney. Good work, Melbourne United. They're trying to stay in the fight. Delaney just having a little nap there. Has the ball batted out of his hands by Maldonado. Owundu picks up the crumbs. Sobey comes forward. Spins Milton Doyle inside out and then tries the bounce pass looking for John Brown. But Kurzlovic was in the way and it deflected off him. And now we've got a foul on the ground as Brown and one of the Melbourne United players are wrestling for the ball. Brown pushing for the jump ball, but gives away a foul. Great to have you with us. Let us know where you're tuning in from. Get involved in the comments. Let us know. Can you see Melbourne United coming back from here? Should we be worried about some of the chinks in the armour that we're starting to see as they drain a deep 3 through Finn Delaney? That's a beautiful stroke. Gets us back to a 10-point game. Back to the same margin we had at quarter time. And the difference now, 2.5 minutes have ticked off the clock. Maldonado fighting with Walker. Aaliyah goes for 3, well overshot. Hunter sweeps in, takes the rebound. Maldonado trying to grab the ball, just gets bumped by Walker, and it's adjudged a foul by the referee, who's right on the spot. Walker's perplexed and frustrated, but it doesn't matter. As I say, great to have you all with us. Let us know in the comments where you're watching from. Walker now onto 3 fouls. Early in the second quarter, he's going to have to watch himself. The import for Melbourne United. Unsurprisingly, he's gone back to the bench for the time being. Sobey for 3. Gets high, doesn't get it done. They take the rebound, lay it off for Delaney, who has a little fumble, but it works out to his advantage. The fumble outfoxed Geordie Hunter. He regathered and pops it in with a nice little layup. Get us back to an 8-point margin. .6:53 on the clock. Maldonado's tried to fire that to Hunter, but he's thrown it with enough venom that it would have got all the way to Geelong. Out of bounds. Melbourne United ball. A little bit of discussion and conversation here around what's happening. As Doyle takes the inbound ball. As it returned to him by Kurzlovic. Doyle just does it all himself. Doesn't go, though. And he's been called for travel. He's arguing it. But he's not going to get his way. Now Glover gets the ball from O'Leary. He just strolls down court. They lead by 8, 6.5 on the clock. Glover fires it back now for Owundu. Owundu step back 3. No good. Looks like we've got a foul call on a catch Aaliyah anyway. Inbound from Doyle. Ball comes back to him. He just wanders straight down the centre of the court. Golding sets the screen. Now Golding up against Owundu. Glover tries to close the space to help out. And Owundu's going to be called for a foul for reaching. Geordie Hunter straight over to try and calm him down. They'll be inbound in the attacking half. Doyle running the point. Opportunity for Golding for 3, and he drains it. Wasn't all net, but it wasn't too bad. All of a sudden, 5-point ball game. South East Melbourne go with the timeout. Certainly well and truly still in the balance. Interesting game to play out from here. Still plenty of basketball to come. Just under 6 minutes remaining in this quarter. And a full half to come. Finn Delaney leading all comers still. 13 points, shooting at 100%. As I said, the shooting's been wonderful so far. If we have a look, South East Melbourne a little lesser on it. 46% from three, 54% overall. Melbourne United 57 point from three, 57.1 from three, and 56.5 from two. So they're actually shooting better from three. They're 4 from 7. Melbourne United. Golding, Kerslovic, Krebs and Delaney all nailing them. Well, Melbourne United have been a little, South East Melbourne have been a little more haphazard. Sobey 2 from 5, but Geordie Hunter 3 from 3 from 3-point range. Absolutely lighting up. As I said before, he's got 3 rebounds to his name as well. And John Brown the third, who's trending towards some big numbers. 8, 4 and 4. Delaney 13, 2 and 1 at the moment. Nathan Sobey to inbound it from the timeout. Glover's wide on the right, just inside their baseline. He takes it, dribbles down court, down the right-hand edge, if you will. Hunter's tried to set a screen for him, didn't quite work. Doyle went with. Awundu trying to do what he can, just trying to take on one-on-one. Size little jumper over the top of Golding and gets it to go. That's a nice shot from Awundu. Back to a 7-point lead now, 5.5 remaining. Doyle sweeping across from right to left. Now he slow shuffle steps his way back to the middle where he hands it to Golding. He takes a step back three when he's already well outside the arc. Doesn't quite go. It wasn't far away though. Sobey drives it forward for Glover. Glover throws it off for Hunter. Hunter looks at the three and gets his first miss of the afternoon, Geordie Hunter. Midway through the second quarter, 41-34. South East Melbourne leading Melbourne United. Great to have you tuning in. Let us know where you're watching from. Get involved in the comments. Kerslovic throws it deep to Doyle. Doyle, big three. Again, doesn't go. Shooting starting to slip now. Sobey thinks about stepping away. Doesn't do it. Gives it to Hunter. A wounded little lob pass over for the big man in Hunter. He looks for a leer, but it's just broken up and falls friendly for Milton Doyle, who takes on Nathan Sobey. Does it all with a little floating bucket. 5 points is the margin. Milton Doyle now up to 6 points. 4 assists as well. And Nathan Sobey works his way into the lane. Can't get it to go, but draws a foul, and he'll get to shoot for 2. Fabian Kerslick wants to argue the toss. It's not going to get him far. Sobey to the line. 4:07 on the clock. It's his first nice and clean. Exactly what you'd expect from the South East Melbourne captain. And again, back out to 7. Melbourne United start to claw away at it, and then South East Melbourne just stretch it back out. Doyle working, just holding the space, taking his time before he hits 6 loaded. Here he goes. Little pop pass for Bowen, out wide now. 3-point shot doesn't quite go for Krebs. Sobey doing all the work here. Alir the screen. Sobey fires it out for Hunter. Hand in his face, and that's beautiful defense from Bowen there. Ketchalia tried to pull some magic off, but ended up sliding out of bounds himself. 3:29 on the clock. She's neck and neck in Throwdown 31. South East Melbourne have got the advantage at the moment, but far from safe. Now Kyle Bowen. Pops it off for Dash Daniels. A name to watch. Edwards, a no-look shot. Gets fouled in the motion. So he'll go to the line as well. Geordie Hunter steps out while Edwards takes his free throws. A little too much slice on that one. It spits back out of the hoop. Here he goes again. None from two. That'll be cheeseburgers. Free cheeseburgers for everyone via the Hungry Jacks app. Code is layoff. I think it only works for Australians though. So if you're overseas, not much goods here. Scrappy basketball there. And have we got another foul? He called on Edwards. He's irate, I think it's fair to say. Edwards and Glover tangled. Glover looked like he had his arm locked around him. Maybe a little push first from Edwards. They didn't challenge it though, so we'll see where that eventuates. 2 minutes 50 on the clock. Maldonado fouled, and he'll go to the line now. They're starting to creep in. The foul numbers are creeping up for a number of players. Maldonado hits his first. And his second. 9-point ball game. 2 minutes 50 on the clock before half time. Off that foul, Edwards goes and takes a seat. And we've got an inbound violation from Melbourne United. Defensive while just pressing on it. Closing down his options for Delaney. So that adds some salt to the wound. Glover takes it, fading away. 2-pointer just inside the 3-point line to extend it beyond double digits again. Now Krebs goes to Delaney. Chris Golding for three. Beautiful shot. Turn, no look, drains it. Does CG 43. Takes himself up to 6 points. South East Melbourne now. Glover at the point. Little crossover. Deep three from Glover. Oh my word. That was a good 2 meters outside the 3-point arc. Straight down the barrel. Brings up 50 points for the Phoenix. All the air fouls on Bowen. So they'll go to the line. So you wouldn't mind being an overs points punter on this game. Plenty of it going on. Jump into the comments. Let us know where you're watching from. Let us know your thoughts on the game. Who you think is going to get it done? Can Melbourne United claw this back to ladder leaders? They trail by 11 at the moment. Kyle Bowen at the line. 2 minutes and 6 seconds on the clock until half time. Kyle Bowen hits his first. 50-40. 2 minutes and 6 to come in this half. Plenty of time yet. We've seen teams claw back 20-point deficits in recent weeks. We saw South East Melbourne take Illawarra to overtime earlier this round after trailing by double digits. Now Phoenix working it down court. Maldonado. Glover drives it back to the centre. Maldonado draws in 2. Gives Aaliyah some open space. He decides better of it. Nice little step and feint. And up it goes. DJ Mitchell out onto the court. And looking every bit the star. 52-41. Lear with the steal from Doyle. Does well. And a flick pass, no look. Falls for DJ Mitchell. He's got Maldonado as an option. Under the bucket, that's where he goes. It doesn't drop, though. It's a little bit too much finger roll. Melbourne United breathe a sigh of relief. A minute 15 on the clock. Doyle driving into the paint. Angus Glover couldn't get out of the way fast enough, and Doyle gets the foul. Couldn't get set, couldn't get out of the way. Doyle hits one. Can he get the second here and just bring this back to under 10 points in the shadows of halftime? Minute 14 on the clock. Melbourne United have been playing catch-up almost all game. Gets the second there, does Milton Doyle, and South East Melbourne wastes no time getting it back in bounds. Where's Awundu? Running the point. Turning Bowen inside out, but Bowen just reaches a hand in. Somehow gets it away. Maldonado scrambling for that. Does get the ball. Glover, a long dribble. Gets up and over, and it spins it around and around, and then it drops. And the margin is back to double digit. 52.9 seconds on the clock. Jordy Hunter is up and about on the South East Melbourne Phoenix bench, that is for sure. As we head towards half-time here. As I say, let us know in the comments where you're watching from. Let us know your thoughts on the game. South East Melbourne going to blow this one away. They've already dropped 2 to Melbourne United this year. As Glover now, after that foul at the line, drains it. Makes it a 12-point ball game. Less than a minute to go till half-time. Doyle sweeping around the right-hand edge. Gets inside the three-point arc and just pulls back. Hits the shot. 10-point ball game. Both teams should get at least one use of the ball from here. DJ Mitchell getting across the top and gets it to go. And one. That hurts for Melbourne United. 12-point ball game. 38.2 on the clock. Mitchell will go to the line for one. Mitchell hits it. Back to a 13-point lead. Equal biggest of the afternoon. Melbourne United have got Walker with 3 fouls, Delaney with 2, Coppins with 2, and Edwards with 2. On the other side, 2 each for Brown, Hunter, and Ali. Melbourne United turnover possession once again. And timeout is called. 21.9 seconds on the clock. What can they draw up here, Melbourne United, to try and just get something back? A bit of a blow back. They've got this lead back to the low single digits at points this quarter. But just let it get away from them again each time. And now South East Melbourne still shooting at 57%. Melbourne United have dropped down to 50. What will the end of the quarter bring? Make their way back out. 21.9 seconds on the clock. South East Melbourne are an offensive powerhouse. We know that they lead the league in points per game, 3-pointers made, assists, steals, and bench points. Some big categories to be leading. South East Melbourne now have the clock at their disposal. Lead goes all the way to the hoop, gets another 2. And the Shadows at halftime. That's their biggest lead of the game. Melbourne United a wayward shot in the end. And South East Melbourne a 15-point lead at the half. Leaders for the visitors who are trailing at the moment. Finn Delaney 13 points, 3 rebounds, 2 assists. And Milton Doyle 10 points, 2 rebounds, 4 assists. While for the South East Melbourne side, Geordie Hunter 11 points at 67% shooting, 4 rebounds and an assist. Nathan Sobey 10 points, 2 rebounds. And then you go down to the likes of John Brown III with 8 points. Wes Awundu with 8 points. Angus Glover with 8 points. But the way it sits at the half is it is 60-45. South East Melbourne are leading at Melbourne United. We will take a 10-minute break. We will be right back with you with the second half. In 10 minutes' time, we can't wait to talk some more basketball with you. And don't forget, if you haven't already, hit subscribe, give the video a like, and get involved in the comments during the break. Let us know what your predictions are for the second half. We'll be right back, and don't forget to hang around later on as we will head from this game straight to the big clash between Adelaide 36ers travelling to the jungle to take on the Perth Wildcats. And welcome back. We are into the third quarter now. And Melbourne United with a job to do. They get the first bucket straight away, not mucking about. They almost got a stop on the second offence. South East Melbourne can lose possession though, so they do get essentially a stop in the end. Kings of the North, good to have you with us. It's a little mistake there. They give a foul, South East Melbourne. B. Milton Doyle to the line. Gets his first. He's open with a flurry in this quarter. Played 17 minutes so far out of just over 20. Despite starting off the bench, gets another, takes himself to 14. Now leads all scorers. And 2 leading scorers in the match, but they still trail by 11. Now we've got Walker down on the floor. We'll try and see what the contact was. It's Hunter leaning into the screen. That's going to be an offensive foul. Just changing his body position. But no, they're going to say Walker just holding his cheekbone. Yes, it will be. So, second foul given against South East Melbourne. Melbourne a chance to further claw away that lead. Maybe take it back to single digits early in the quarter. Good to have you along. If it's your first time tuning in, get involved in the comments. Don't be shy. Let us know where you're watching from, how you think this is going to play out. As Walker gets over the top. Doesn't go, though. Brown takes the rebound. Sobey comes away with it. Swings it wide for Hunter. Quick ball movement. Awundu deep on the right wing. Drains 3. They're straight back to it at South East Melbourne. They love to play high pace, high tempo, high points. Now Delaney, a little fumble, mistake there. Last touch comes off Awundu, so it will be Melbourne United ball. B. Milton Doyle to inbound. Walker working the point, drives forward towards the top of the lane and then step back for Krebs. He drains 3 in response. And it's back to 11 points. They're not going away just yet, Melbourne United. Hunter swings wide on the right. Awundu comes back to the centre with Maldonado. Maldonado's got Brown with him. Little open jumper right in the lane, and he leaves it short. That's unusual for John Brown. Little mistake there. Lob pass over the top here for Edwards, and he takes it to the house. Back to 9 points. 2 minutes and 5 gone here, and South East Melbourne are going to call a timeout. Great to have you all watching along. Let us know where you're watching from. Let us know whether or not you think Melbourne United are going to claw this gap back. And of course, make sure to hit subscribe so you get all the notifications about when we're dropping our new episodes. We have plenty of content coming. Got another live watch along straight after this one as Perth play host to the Adelaide 36ers. What can they conjure here in the timeout? Just trying to slow things up, I think. South East Melbourne, after Melbourne United had a little bit of a run here to close it down to 9 points. Remembering that Melbourne United have led just once in this game, and for less than 20 seconds, they got one bucket in, led 13-12, and South East Melbourne were quick to respond. Now Brown works it back to Maldonado on the point. Maldonado dribbling in, decides to take a three-pointer on the 45-degree. Can't get it to go, but Melbourne United watch it fall to Wezawundu. Gives it back to Geordie Hunter. 10 on the reset shot clock. Awundu in for Geordie Hunter. Little hit, spin. Pivots over the top with a hook. Gets another 2. $11-point lead for Melbourne United. Now Doyle. Edwards the screen. Opens up a lane for him. Doyle goes in. Little jumper over the top. Leaves it short, though. And Hunter somehow bats it back unwittingly to Nathan Sobey, who gets up and throws down a very, very poor shot in the end. He looked like more interested in fouling. And then Milton Doyle pulls up at the three-point line and bangs one straight back. 6:42 on the clock, and it's an 8-point ball game. Doyle's got 17. Awundu swings it across. Brown was open, but he had back to the hoop, so he gives it off to Maldonado. Walker's all over his back, but Maldonado just drives towards the post and takes a 2. Now, Doyle, nice little bounce pass back inside for Edwards, and Edwards is called for an offensive foul. Doesn't like the call, Edwards. I don't know, both his feet set, so wasn't textbook, but they were there. Now got 4 players sitting on 3 fouls. Geordie Hunter, Walker, Delaney, and Edwards. Well, it's a coach's challenge. And we'll see what it comes up with. Looked to me like Maldonado had both feet set there, so we'll see what the experts judge. As this one comes down to the wire, let us know what you're liking. Let us know if you're having a little wager, a little bit of a watch along with us. G'day, Harry. Good to have you with us. Big game on the line. Plenty of other sport happening too. The cricket. England are chipping away at Australia's lead. They trail by 19 with 4 wickets in hand. You'd think after the coach's challenge, unsuccessful there. There you go. I did know something about basketball. You'd think that maybe, just maybe, England will end up with a bit of a lead and Australia will chase it down later today. So it's made it to day 4, which is a positive. Back at the replays, and you just see Maldonado, the feet were set. Would have been a good narrative because obviously it would have helped trim this lead down a little, but not to be. Melbourne United is still trying to dispute it. It's going to be South East Melbourne ball, so it's simple as that. And they get things moving. Angus Glover back on the court. Fires it to the right to Alir. Thinks about stepping down the lane. Goes wide. Now cuts back inside. Drops it out to Sobey. 6 on the shot clock. 5 on the shot clock. John Brown with a mid-range jumper. Doesn't go. Almost fighting over it themselves. Doyle comes down now. Takes it over into the offensive half. Spins it around for Kerslovic, who throws it to absolutely no one. Golding had taken off to run the lane. And Kerslovic threw it to where he was standing. Well, Melbourne United are crawling themselves here. Nathan Sobey just weaves between 2 Melbourne defenders. Then easy as you like, pops a little bucket in. That's far too soft, far too easy. As they open their lead back up to 12 as we head towards the midpoint of this third quarter. Finn Delaney in his 200th game. Can't get it to go, but it's swatted back by Kerslovic. Falls for Walker. Golding for a long-range 3. Drains it. That's a little better. They're trying to put up some fight here, Melbourne, but some silly mistakes just costing them. Simple errors. Awundu. Bounce pass into Brown. Kerslovic's there. Swats it away. Just gets a little tap on it. Does well. Delaney's nearly left it behind. Fortunately for him, the South East Melbourne players had torn off down in the defensive end. Walker comes away. Running the point. Short pass left. Gets it back to his right. Swings it to Delaney. An open 3. Overhits it. Sabi takes it away now down the other end. Looking for the offense. Sabi working his magic. What can he conjure here? Turning against Walker. Trying to get the shot up over Walker. Does get the shot up over Walker. Gets 2. Falls to the ground and looked like he was trying to do the worm. 71-60. They get a stop. Melbourne United just not executing at the level you'd expect from a side that started the season 13-2. Lear foul. That was simple. Delaney just gave him a slap across the wrist. Wasn't giving away an uncontested bucket. With 3:56 on the clock, a catch Lear will go to the line. Well. Melbourne United just crueling themselves at key moments here. As we said before, 3 players on 3 fouls for Melbourne United, which is not helping their cause. You must be cautious playing down the stretch. Lear hits 1 from 2. Gets the second one. We've got a 12-point ball game. Kerslovic thinks twice about an open 3, and you can see why. He bricks it. It falls to South East Melbourne. Lear. Glover. Glover fires it with a rocket overarm pass. Looking for Lear. Couldn't hit him. Open 3 now for Krebs. And again, he misses. Bowen. Had an air swing at it, but was he grabbed? And he's been fouled, has he? I think we have. I think we'll have a foul and we'll go back for it. Again, if you're tuning in, jump into the comments. Let us know what you think it's going to play out from here. And, of course, make sure you hang around for the next live stream as well. If you haven't already, hit subscribe. We'd love to have you along for the journey for more games. But don't be shy. Get involved in those comments. We are here to engage with you. Swing it back now. Bowen. Krebs. Bouncing around, looking for an option. Goes for a 3. Leaves it short. Missed shots. They're feeling the pressure now, Melbourne United. Glover fires it across to Lear. He's on the 45 degree. Sobey drives back into the exact same spot. Takes the 3-point shot and drains it. Nathan Sobey is on fire tonight. I should say this afternoon. It's actually afternoon, isn't it? So Sobey up to 17 points. Body's crashing. Walker comes away with the 2 points. Melbourne United get one back. 13-point ball game. Sobey going to work again. Fires it out. Maldonado's got all day to think about it and leaves it just short. Wasn't far away at all for Hunter Maldonado. Needs to be better with an open 3. Chris Golding decides he'll have a crack. That one doesn't go. Just spins away off the rim and spits out to the right. Sobey fires it wide to their attacking right to Glover. He brings it across. Brown moves it on. He's just walking. Sets a screen. Sobey slides through the channel that opens up. Pulls it up. He'll get the bucket and 1. Out to a 15-point lead. Chance at the free throw line to make it their biggest lead of the afternoon. He just sliced between Walker and Kerslovic. Kerslovic a little lazy there on the defense. You just wonder, if all the hype, all the pressure is starting to drain this Melbourne United side. Or maybe Dean Vickerman heading away to Boomers camp. I'm not sure. It's an interesting one. You could hypothesise quite a lot, I suppose. For the time being, it'll be Nathan Sobey to the line to make it 20 points for him and a 15-point lead for his side. And he does drain it. He's got that nice high arc on the free throw. They lead 78-62. 2 minutes 15 to go in this third quarter. He leads all comers. He's on 20. Doyle 17. Hunter and Delaney on 13. Golding slides through the open lane, gets the bucket back. Bit of basketball from United. Their experienced leader doing all the work. Hunter and Awundu. Maldonado up against Walker. Draws around the outside, looking for an option. 7 on the shot clock, manages to get the screen, but can't get the bucket to go. That was a horrible shot. Hunter thinks about a 3. Fell friendly for him on the rebound. Now Awundu swings it to Glover. Glover from downtown. Doesn't go, but Aaliyah gets the rebound, gets up and goes again. And on the 4th time of asking, all those offensive rebounds pay off. They get 2. Chris Golding throws it behind a player and turns it over. Where's Awundu? He's got Maldonado open if he wants it. Decides to go for 3 himself and add some points. All of a sudden they lead by 19. He asks the crowd to get on their feet. Signals the ice in his veins and says, let's get up and make some noise. It's easy as you like. He just thought about it, got Walker off balance. Thanks for coming. And extended their lead out to 19 points. Deep in this third quarter, and Melbourne United will call a timeout. 1:04 on the clock. Meanwhile, over in the cricket, England have chipped their deficit down to 17. They're 6 for 160. Ben Stokes 18. Will Jacks 12. It'll be interesting to see this next game. As we said, Bryce Cotton heads back to Adelaide, to Perth with Adelaide for the first time since he left the club in the off-season. When he departed, the thinking was that he was going to go and head off to a different league, and instead, the news broke not too long afterwards that he'd signed with their rivals, the Adelaide 36ers. An absolute coup for them, and it's been a big part of Adelaide's surge to be sitting currently on the live ladder, on top of the ladder. A spot they could further secure with a win against Perth this afternoon. Perth also knocked off Melbourne United, and then those two sides, Melbourne United and Adelaide, come together as Jesse Edwards loses the ball off his own foot and it trickles back across half court. And this is just some Benny Hill sort of stuff so far from Melbourne United. And with 48 seconds on the clock until we hit three-quarter time, South East Melbourne certainly have this one well in their control. Angus Glover goes to work. There we go. Edwards gets a stop, but again it falls. Awundu goes for 3. Shot clock at a lapse, though. The 24-second violation. Tough times for Melbourne United at the moment. Just can't get things to work out. Melbourne United come in now, get one done. Kyle Bowen. He's it back to 17. Turnover ball. Melbourne United will get one away. Edwards well wide of the hoop and at three-quarter time. All of a sudden it now is a 17-point deficit for Melbourne United to try and claw back. Adelaide, as I said, 4:30 this afternoon. They will take on the Perth Wildcats, and we'll have it here for you. We'll be with you with a live coverage from about 4:27. Plenty to happen, plenty to come. In the meantime, though, what can Melbourne United do to put a cork in this runaway form, back-to-back losses? We saw it happen earlier in the year too, but now when you start to have a look at the slightly bigger picture, remembering they were 9-0, which now means that they've lost 4 of their last 8 games. Is this something a little larger? Just the one loss at home so far this season, but this is a home loss too when you look at it. I know it's an away game for them, but it is on their home court. As I said, it means that Adelaide leapfrogged them 12-3. Chance for Adelaide to really cement that with a win today and put them at 13-3 as they head towards that big clash next week. On Friday night, Adelaide and Melbourne in Adelaide. Some big clashes for the top 5 next week. Still got to obviously get through this week. South East Melbourne will have another chance to further close the gap on Melbourne with a game against Tasmania. They could get themselves to 11-5. Or on Brisbane, a key game for both those sides if they want to keep any chance of staying in touch with the teams in the play-in race, and the Breakers are breaking that wide open, pardon the pun. And Adelaide, Melbourne, Perth, Sydney. Kings need to start getting some wins to close the gap on those top 4. They're starting to drift away. They've got some extra games to play, but they're 7-7 at the moment, behind a Perth team that are 9-6 heading into this clash with Adelaide. And then Cairns and Tassie, similar to those teams we talked about before. Cairns on the bottom of the ladder, but they got that key win last night. Tasmania going down to the Breakers, so we then head into South East Melbourne and New Zealand. The Phoenix, they won't want to drop that game, but New Zealand in form. Is there at John Cain Arena, where they've lost just twice this year. And then Melbourne and Sydney on Sunday afternoon into Brisbane and Perth. A must-win for Perth to continue their form. What a week. And if you want to look a little further ahead, what about this for some Ignite Cup action? Sydney and Adelaide on Wednesday night. That would be absolutely huge. We'll be looking to bring you a few of these games as the opportunities arise over the next couple of weeks over this Christmas period. Try and do some watch-alongs leading into Christmas, and then we'll take a little break from watch-alongs. We'll still have some daily doses dropping. But again, let us know where you're watching from, tuning in from, what you're up to on your Sunday. As John Brown gets another one for South East Melbourne to start this 4th quarter. I think we'll be having a repeat of South East Melbourne's game earlier in the week. It went to overtime. Another missed shot from Melbourne United, and South East Melbourne come away. They go again, South East Melbourne. Brown with another 2 points. This is just turning into a cakewalk. It's out past 20 now. Oh, Bowen trying to magic something. I'm not sure if that's an adjective, but we'll make it one now. They swing wide. Chris Golding for a 3-pointer. No good. Brown tries to swat it away. It falls for Bowen. Brown throws himself into that one. I think we'll have a foul there. Minute 12 gone in this final quarter, and South East Melbourne have a cakewalk ahead just to secure another win and knock their inner city rivals off the top of the ladder for the first time this season. Sloppy again from Melbourne. South East Melbourne work it down court. Doesn't go for Sobey. Back to the drawing board, they move on. Milton Doyle trying to do it all himself. Little mid-range jumper. Gets the 2 points back. Gets it under 20. Just about stemming the bleeding now for Melbourne United. 87-68. Doyle gets the N1. And he gets it. 87-69. South East Melbourne ball. Good to have the Sunday afternoon crowd with us today. Let us know where you're watching from. Get involved in the comments as we head on the run home with this one. Milton Doyle fires a pass, trickling down the line in the end by the time it gets all the way down to an offensive player. And Delaney in his 200th game. Geordie Hunter gets the stop. Delaney cleans up Maldonado, and that'll be a foul. Nice and clear cut. Delaney just tried to outmuscle Geordie Hunter, but he took the nudge and then came back with a little swat away. And Finn Delaney, that's his 5th foul. He's out in his 200th game with 8 minutes to go. It's the end of his afternoon. I'll tell you what, with the score the way it is, he's probably happy to forget this one, despite it being a milestone game. Where's Awundu? Can't get that one to go. But he threw that back up through the hoop from underneath. Krebs fires it out. Walker, open 3 at the top of the lane. Gets one back. Stems the bleeding somewhat. 15-point ball game. 7 minutes 35 on the clock. And Melbourne United, one of the rare occasions where they'll want to get out of their own hometown venue. Nathan Sobey drains a 3 straight back. He has absolutely been clutch. He was quiet the first 3 quarters the other night, as Edwards cleans up Maldonado and Walker goes down driving, taking 2 points. He's quiet the first 3 quarters the other night, was Nathan Sobey, but 17 points in the final quarter, 2 points in overtime, and then 23 points tonight. 23 points, 5 rebounds, 3 assists, and 2 steals. It's a good day out for the captain. South East Melbourne get another bucket. 4 players in double digits. .651 on the clock. Nathan Sobey gives away a foul on CG43. It's a little too aggressive going after the ball and then gets the body as well. Trying to put his hand up and own that one. 2 stalwarts of the NBL going toe-to-toe. Milton Doyle, little fade away. Can't get it to go. If you're an NBA fan as well, interesting games today. Plenty of action happening. The big watch in the NBA at the moment as we see a Catch-a-Lear line up for 3. Doesn't quite go. Krebs gets the rebound. He's clearly about this story. Pursuing the record in the Western Conference. Oklahoma City 22-1 through more than a quarter of their games. Melbourne get another bucket back. Can they break those records? Where will they finish in the pantheon of great teams? Will they chase down the Golden State Warriors as Awundu attempts to drain a 3? It falls back. Glover will come back and he'll get one back. And they go to 95-76. Back to a 19-point lead. As I was saying, obviously the 73-9 Golden State Warriors in 2015-16. And the 95-96 Chicago Bulls, 72-10. Melbourne go with another timeout here. Melbourne United, 5:41 on the clock. Feels like it's just delaying the inevitable. Game winding down. Don't forget, we will have another game, as I said, a little bit later on. We've got Adelaide taking on Perth. So make sure to hit subscribe and the bell notification on our channel as well. That way you'll get notifications when we drop our episodes and when we're going live as well. Yeah, that Oklahoma team, 14 wins on the trot now. They are absolutely firing. The other end of the spectrum, there's some teams that are really stinging things up this year. New Orleans and Washington, just 3 wins from their games so far. New Orleans 3-21, Washington 3-19. Talking about it before, Melbourne's next 5 games. They head away to Adelaide, then they've got Sydney at home both next week. And Illawarra at home, Tasmania at home the week after, and then Brisbane away. So those next 2 games are really key against a couple of contenders before they come up against a few of the bottom sides. As we get Wezawundu flicking it back, Brown had an open look, decided to fire it off to Glover. Glover dribbling towards the left, bounce pass into Brown at the top of the key, and he adds another 2. They're certainly racking up the points. South East Melbourne, you can see why they aren't leading the NBL in offense and a lot of offensive stats, including assists. Brown now up to 14 points. Got Sabi with 25, Brown and Awundu 14 each, and Hunter with 13. While Milton Doyle leads the way for Melbourne United off the bench, 22 points. Delaney with 13 out of the game now. Golding and Walker with 11 each, and Walker gets fouled and he'll head to the line. And he gets his first one. I was talking about those records before. That New Orleans Pelicans record at the percentage they're at the moment, they're on track to become one of the worst teams in history. Brown, absolute missed mid-range jumper there. That was a simple one. He should have been hitting that one every time. As Krebs fires it wide, Kerslovic, my goodness, that was ordinary. 4:30 on the clock, 97-79. It's a palindromic dream, that score. Fired wide, Glover open 3, and bang, they bring up the 100 to South East Melbourne. Still 4 minutes 20 on the clock. Milton Doyle's trying to play a lone hand here. Goes to work, gets a miss. Kerslovic rebounds. Gets fouled in the action, and will it be and 1? It will be. So he'll go to the line now, Fabian Kerslovic. Kerslovic gets another. Yeah, as I was saying, as it currently sits, equal 4th of all time on their current win percentage. While the Washington Wizards, looking at them, they will be sitting at about 6th spot or 7th spot on the list. So let's have a look at this call now. Interesting one in this one. Wilson looked like he'd set the screen. It's driven backwards. Was he just shuffling his feet a little too much? No, they have called the foul. Josh King just talking to his bench about whether or not they want to change it. No, the foul has been called as a defensive foul. Interesting. 4 minutes on the clock. Ketchalier turning, spinning, pivoting, gets the shot away over the top. Can't go. Kerslovic takes the rebound. Tom Wilson out there for some time. As Wezawundu clatters into Dash Daniels. Haven't seen a lot of Dash today. Less than just up to 4 minutes of game time so far. Looks like Awundu got ball. Now they swing wide. Air ball from Wilson. Long overshot on a 3 from the left wing. Everyone going through the motions at the moment. They're trying to hustle in. As John Brown just fires that in at feet. And it finds a boot, and so it'll go across to the sideline. No, goes the baseline, sorry. Glover swings around, runs a big arc, sweeping back out to the top of the lane. Wundu's there. He's got Brown with him. Uses Brown as a foil. Doesn't get it to go. Kurzlovic manhandled. And it's going to be a foul. Certainly no love lost between the two rivals. Three minutes 21. Dash Daniels stepping out for some treatment. Kurzlovic's going to go to the line here. He'll get one. Gets two from two, Kurzlovic. Then we've got a technical foul call on Josh King. He's winning by 16. I'm not sure what he's carrying on about. Kurzlovic misses this one, though. That'll be that. So now Phoenix will have the ball. They've gone a minute without scoring. Just winding this down, managing the clock here. 16-point ball game. Should just be everyone get through this from here as Nathan Sobey tries the acrobatic and entertaining. Wilson comes away with it. He's going to drive down the lane against a catcher Lear. Lear gets a hand to it, swats it away, and it'll be Melbourne United ball with 3 minutes on the clock. A few rotation players starting to get some minutes now. Malith Mashar out there. Most excited person in the building at the moment looks like the Phoenix mascot. As Walker fires past the Kurzlovic and it just goes straight through his hand. Looks like he's fielding for the English cricket team. Maldonado. Rotating, pivoting, pushing, driving. Fires it to Alir. Alir to Glover. Glover back to Maldonado. Maldonado almost handed that to Walker then. A little bit of push and shove now. Angus Glover getting a bit feisty. Walker in amongst it again. Still talking. Happy to chat, Walker. 2:33 on the clock. 100 to 84. South East Melbourne will chalk the win. Melbourne will drop off the top of the ladder for the time being at least. I want Perth to do them a favour. Perth get the win over Adelaide and they'll pop back to the top of the ladder. Maldonado. Glover deep for three. Just overhits a little. Fired away. Alir dives for it. And just handed it to Kurzlovic. He's off balance. Couldn't hold on to it. Coppin's back out there. I haven't seen a lot of him since he started. Only 9 minutes in total. Maldonado collides with Machar. It's been called an illegal screen. 2 minutes 12 on the clock, just going through the motions here. As I said, a lot of the rotation players starting to get some minutes. Nathan Sobey's still out there now. Foster out there. Brown and Glover and Alir for South East Melbourne. Bowen, Kurzlovic, Wilson, Machar as Alir gets up and over the hoop. Tell you what, it was a while between drinks. It was nearly 3 minutes between buckets, 2.5 minutes between buckets for South East Melbourne. Wilson fires it wide. Kurzlovic for three. and leaves it hanging short. Wilson fouled through all that, so he'll go to the line with 1:46 on the clock. They trail by 18. They've trailed as much as 21 today. Wilson gets a point. Takes them to 85. His third point of the game. The scoreboard was ahead of me. That's his second points of the game. But both points from the free throw line. 102.86. Sobey swings it wide. Foster can't control it. Falls for Coppins. Scrappy pass. Wilson manages to reel it in. Wilson takes it back over half court though. Didn't have the control. The pressure got to him. 1:20 on the clock, and South East Melbourne will have possession. Nathan Sobey throwing AFL hand passes. Halfway through the court. I said another game later this afternoon, about 10 minutes, 12 minutes away. Take a really brief break and then get straight into that. It'll be Perth and Adelaide. DJ Mitchell back out there. Little step back, thinks about the shot, steps back a second time, takes the three-pointer. Beautiful strike from Mitchell. Just walking this one out. Down to a minute to go here. Wilson fires it wide. Char can't get it to go, but we're going to have a foul and he'll go to the line. Lith Machar. This is the first one. Let's get some advice from Coppins and Wilson. They're out there with Kerslovic, Machar, and Bowen. None from two. If they didn't already have free burgers here in the crowd, they would have got them again. 105.86 inside the last minute. South East Melbourne surely will just try and manage this from here. DJ Mitchell, deep three, straight down the lane and bangs it. And again, they extend out to their biggest lead of the game, 22 points now. DJ Mitchell's got 11 points in a little cameo here. Kerslovic steps across a Lear. Gets up and over, can't get it to go though. Glover swats it wide. They try and steal the ball away. It's ripped out and it comes off Melbourne last with 23 seconds on the clock. South East Melbourne will have the inbound ball, so that will be all she wrote. They're very happy on the bench for the Phoenix. The men in green get one back. They lost the first two of the season in the throwdowns and make it 2-1 on the year. But again, they'll take pride in the fact that, at least for the time being, they've knocked their inner city rivals off the top of the NBL ladder. A big result for them. Just running through the scorers so far, because let's be honest, not a lot of material differences from here. Leading the way for Melbourne United, 22 points. 5 assists, 3 rebounds is Milton Doyle. Finn Delaney, 13 points, 7 rebounds, 2 assists. Tyson Walker, 12 points, 1 rebound, 5 assists. And Chris Golding, 11 points, 1 rebound, 1 assist. This last play here, 23 seconds, has been overturned. It's gone to be Melbourne's ball, so those numbers might change. Kerslovic, Wilson. 3-point shot from Machar. Spits in, spins out, doesn't go. DJ Mitchell's going to try and go down and get some more points here. Mid-range jumper, doesn't quite go. Back to Glover, out to Mitchell. He'll go for 3, and he hits another 3. DJ Mitchell. They are absolutely cannot miss basketball here. Melbourne United take a long last shot at it from half court, but it'll finish 111.86, a 25-point win for South East Melbourne. And a weekend horrible for Melbourne comes to a close. They'll go and try and regroup and regather and hopefully claim back top spot next weekend. We went through the Melbourne United numbers for South East Melbourne. Nathan Sobey led the way, 25 points at 53% shooting, 5 rebounds and 4 assists. They had 4 players on 14 points. John Brown, the third, 14 points, 6 rebounds, 5 assists. Wezawundu, 14 points, 3 rebounds, 2 assists. Angus Glover, 14 points, 4 rebounds, 2 assists. DJ Mitchell finished on 14 points with 3 from 3-point shooting and shooting at 83% overall. 14 points in 5 minutes. That's some little cameo. No rebounds, no assists. And on 13 points, Jordan Hunter, he got off to a hot hand with the 3 points early. He also racked up 4 rebounds and 2 assists. But it was certainly the day for South East Melbourne, led by their captain, Nathan Sobey. A big thank you to you for tuning in. We always appreciate having you here. If you haven't already, hit subscribe. Give the video a like as well. Helps us to continue to spread our message. Get involved in the comments and come along again. We'll be tuning in just a few moments' time to the Adelaide versus Perth game, live from RAC Arena. Another watch-along coming for you as Bryce Cotton returns to the jungle. In the meantime, thank you for tuning into your home of the black and white of sports. No grey opinions here.